I'm so excited, you guys, to introduce you to Rahul. Rahul is a master marketer, brand consultant. People come to him when they want to create a brand. He does all of the research, all of the positioning of the brand, figuring out with the team what it is, how to differentiate. And then he comes up with really great products from soups to nuts, right? So figuring out what the product is, how to position it in the market, all the market research, and just packaging it, figuring all of the pieces out so that it can become super successful once it is out in the market. He does this for huge products. He's been doing it for a long time. Amazing also with personal branding. And this is why I really wanted him to come and talk to you guys, because he's puts in the comments over 20 years of experience doing this, and he's been helping authors do the same thing, because branding at the end of the day is branding, right? The rules of branding can apply to a product, to goods and services, and it can apply to you. And I know we have a lot of people here who are getting ready to think about themselves as a brand. So I want him to really tickle and stimulate your brain so that we can start thinking a bit more. All right, so Rahul, I'm going to turn this over to you. I'm so freaking stoked to have you here. I can't wait to see what you have to share with us.
For this author, I did her logo, I did the look and feel of her website, the colors. And for these authors, I did their book cover and helped them create the assets they needed to launch their book on Amazon and become an Amazon bestseller right out the gate. For this author, this is the book cover from the ground up, rebuilding ground zero to re-engineering America. This was the ambassador who helped do a lot of the 9/11 rebuilding in New York. So I did his book cover too. I set up a membership where you subscribe, list your tasks, and once prioritized, you start receiving designs within 2 business days. When I first made this offer, people said, too good to be true. Is this AI or what is this? I'm like, no, this is actually me. I have a lot of big agency experience, work for Honda, Pepsi, Mini Cooper, Burger King, Miller Beer, Gap, Aereo, which was a tech startup I did all the branding for. And then I was responsible for launching the Honda Civic. I've worked at big agencies, I have a bunch of big clients, and I have a ton of awards. But none of that really matters to an author or a small business because you just need designs. So for these guys, they needed packaging and a website. And it's not too different from the book cover is essentially your packaging and your website and your assets to launch your book, like your social media posts and your title cards. Um, that's what you really need. I built this model so people can save money, they can save time. So you don't want to be in meetings, endless meetings. Like when you hire an agency to do your work, you're in meetings with huge teams and interns. You're on a call with 20 people and you're not even sure who's doing the work. With me, you're working with me. I cover a lot of different pieces. When I develop websites, I use a platform called Framer. My entire site is built on Framer, and you can see there's all kinds of interactive components.
Could you tell us
This
what that was again? You said Framer, or how do
Framer, yeah. Framer is pretty easy to use if you're a designer. It's built like a design tool, less like a web tool. Um, this entire site that you're looking at here is built in Framer. People said, what's unlimited design mean? Look, now you can just hover over it and there's little tooltips. And then from there, you can just subscribe. I have a plan for startups or authors of 35 a month, which for what I do is an incredibly good deal. Once you subscribe, you get access to your Trello board. You'll get a board that looks like this. And the first board will have instructions on how to use the board. How to submit a request is you just add a card. You say a book cover. Then I know I need to make your book cover, and you can add in any details. You tell me whatever you want to tell me. And then when you're ready for your first task when you get in here is start putting all of your assets that you think you need. Then the most important pieces you put here to current request. And with this plan, we have one current request at a time. If you move over 2 requests, it'll highlight as an error. So you just move one back over to the backlog. Let's say you say, I want a new logo. That's the first thing I want to work on. So I'll jam on that. And within 2 business days, I'll give you something to look at, to react to. And from there, you can add in comments like make it more green or make it more whatever. I'll keep doing as many changes as are needed to get it to where you love it. Once you love it, it'll go into approved designs, and your design files will all be stored here. There's a Dropbox link that has all of your design files. And if you have any existing branding, like things you've already done, you can put all that here. You can put in any assets you already have developed, and I'll build from there. From here, you can manage your subscription, meaning this monthly fee, you can pause or cancel at any time. So let's say we accomplish everything you need in the first 15 days. Great, pause your account, and you have the remaining 15 days of the month credit for whenever you want to reactivate your account, or you can just cancel it. When you cancel it, your Trello board gets taken down, and we start from scratch if we decide to work together then. I have higher tiers for businesses that need more active requests. The lowest tier has 1 seat, meaning if you're the founder and working with me directly, that's more than enough. But if you have like a marketing team, let's say you have a marketing manager, a personal assistant, a social media manager, all these different things, you would need more seats for bigger operations. I have all my FAQs down here, and then you can schedule a call. But I made this site or this business model to support essentially authors, coaches, and smaller organizations that don't have a huge budget. My goal is to provide world-class advertising and branding to smaller organizations because there's something beautiful you're bringing to our world with your books.
Thank you so much, Raul. Thank you for sharing with us how we can work with you. I'm wondering, can you give us some tips? Let's say we have people in this group who are pretty much done with their books and they are ready to go into book cover design. What are your top things that they should be looking for? The top 5 things they should do as they are thinking about designing the cover of their book.
Any product I work on, whether it's a biotech company, a book, or a food product, the first thing you want to do is see where is your product going to be sold. So if you have a book that's in personal development, go hang out at the personal development section of the bookstore. Go to the personal development section of Amazon. Look and see what's there. For example, if every single book in the personal development section is blue, don't make a blue book. It's not going to stand out. Make a yellow book so it pops. Try to find patterns in your existing place so you can stand out. There's a book called The Blue Ocean Theory, because the red ocean is where all the competition is. You have to figure out a way to position yourself to differentiate and get out of that. Because the biggest trick with positioning is how do you eliminate competition? If your book is a personal development book, or what's an example? Does someone want to throw out a book you've got? And I can riff on that.
Sandy, would you like to share about your book since your book is done and in the editing phase?
Sure, I'll try. So my book, the working title currently is All of Me, the 90-Day Journal to Unconditional Self-Love. And it's a memoir slash journal slash personal development or self-help book. So it's my personal stories, my battles, my triumphs mixed in with exercises for the individual to do to reach a stage in which they have more love for themselves.
Beautiful. I've been on that journey for years, and I resonate with that, and I get it. So it's a valid category, right? We all know that anyway, but sometimes I have clients where they say, hey, look, I can't find anything like this. So when you can't find anything like your product, it either means you're really onto something, or it means you're way ahead of your time and you have to figure out a way to bridge that gap between no one in the world is looking for this kind of stuff and I have this new consciousness, this new information that needs to come to the world. Obviously, you're tapping into something that's a big, and a lot of people are writing books about unconditional self-love. Look at this one. I trust this lady. Like you see, everything here is very fluffy, light pastel colors. And then this girl's got this black thing. But you see how it pops? That's
Mm.
good. But she's only got 13 reviews, so she's not necessarily killing it. This one's got 22,000. Wow. So obviously there's something on that 22,000 thing we need to study. This one's got 83, 25. The internet makes it really easy to understand what's working for people, what's not working for people, and you can get in there and study and see what they're doing. What are the assets they're providing? How are they doing this? So let's go check this out. This is obviously a major standout. Self-love workbook for women. Release self-doubt, build self-compassion, and embrace who you are. Okay, I like that. Let's click on it. 22,000 ratings. That's amazing.
Does that also tell you that there is kind of a big market? Because that has 22,000 and it's a journal. It looks like it's a journal. It's not just a book.
This one's a workbook, and then she has a separate one that's a journal. Let's look at that. This one has 198 ratings, 2023. This one's from 2020, so it's had more time to build a following. But this is very interesting. Let's check out this lady.
I like that word workbook because Sandy, your book can be a journal, it can be a journey, it can be a workbook. It's interesting playing with those words as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's got great highlights that talk about different pieces of the book. So this is all design work, right? Designing your presentation of the book. I promise if you go to some other sites, I bet they don't have that same stuff, right? They don't even have lots of pictures. They just have the front and the back. They didn't put a lot of design care into this. You can see this page has nothing compared to what the other page has.
Mm-hmm.
This book has all kinds of previews, ways to get into it. It gives you a look inside. It has all these nice little things that let you know what you're getting.
It's interesting because it's very similar to what I've done,
Uh-huh.
but from what I can see, mine has a lot more personal stories and
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to pull that out and communicate it in the design of the book and in the sales material, which is what Rahul is showing us right now.
Lots of good sales tools. I'm sure she did some kind of promotional activity because you don't get to 22,000 without doing promotion.
Something that I'm also noticing with this one is, Sandy, as you go into the design phase, this will be really interesting for you. She has inside the book pages that are just quotes, and those I find are very Instagrammable. I call them Instagrammable pages, right? So because people literally take pictures of the inside of a book and post it on social media. So she's providing a lot of Instagrammable content for people inside her book. And I think
Yeah.
your book has the opportunity to do that because you have so many little quotes and diagrams and takeaways and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a coach client. Every day he posts pictures of the books he's reading, and it's just like little quotes and stuff. It's great content. It takes 2 seconds to make it.
Right.
Yeah, this is great.
So let's say we're taking Sandy as an example because she's closest to this. What would she do? She would go on Amazon, research some of these books in her category and look at what's working for other people. How do you go about creating a marketing strategy? Like a branding strategy, a personal branding strategy. Do you design the book first, have a website for the book, and have all of that branding be the same as the book? How do you go about it? Like, what's
Right.
the
So
step by
so
step that you do?
essentially you want to build a funnel, right? So the funnel gets a lot of people into the purchase path. The first thing you need for a funnel is a great product, right? Your book cover needs to make sense. When you look at the cover of the book, there's the title, the subhead, and the little description. The first thing you want to do is show that to all your people and advisors and make sure that when people glance at it, they're like, okay, I get what this is all about. That book we looked at, you look at the cover, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And if you're on the self-love journey, yeah, it's a no-brainer, All right. So you got to get your product from a cool idea in your head to a no-brainer for your target market. Then you want to go from your book cover and expand that to a website. I'm surprised she doesn't have a more immersive website that goes into stuff or has exercises and videos. I looked for it. I didn't see anything. So then you want to put a lead magnet on your website. I'll show you an example on my website just because it's down here. There's this little tab, get your free guide, how to build a brand from scratch. You click on it. If you come to the site for the first time, it'll show you that. Learn how we guided this brand's growth from a simple idea to a product now selling in Walmart, Amazon, and hundreds of brick and mortar retailers around the world. So you put in your email and then boom. Now you'll get emails from me about branding. I made mine so hi, I'm Rahul. Clarity Coded is just me. What's your name? But if you want to get deals and promotions from me, you put in your phone number.
Love.
Thanks.
Can I just stop you because you're doing something really interesting. First of all, does everybody know what a lead magnet is? A lead magnet is something that you're offering in exchange for someone's email address. It can be a small ebook, it can be like a personality test they take, like whatever it is. What you did, Raul, which I've never seen, is instead of saying, hey, give me your name and email address and I'll send you this. You made it so simple. You're like, give me your email address. I'll send this to you for free, right? And then you ask them for their name by introducing yourself, which I think makes it so much more personal. Now you're like, hey, great, you got my thing. And I'm Raul, by the way. And what is your name? Now all of a sudden they're in this conversation. Instead of taking one action to build a relationship with you, they've taken two actions. And by the time they get to the third one, which is their phone number, they've already given you their name and built this personal thing. So then instead of them feeling like, oh God, this guy's asking me for all my information, they're like, oh no, I have a personal relationship with him. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. So I had to stop you and point that out because psychologically, that is I've never seen that information pulled out of someone in that way. And I'm often, when I get those lead magnets, I'm like, God, how many more pages of this does this guy want? But that step in between, I think, is really that key in making them feel like they're building a personal relationship with you.
Correct. So my brand for my agency, it's all about you're working with me directly and you're getting to know me and we're building a relationship. So that's what branding's all about. Branding is finding what's your core. So in my brand, I'm my brand. So the core is how do we get to know each other with every customer touch point. And with your books and your information, the things are different. So we'll ideate. Maybe the lead magnet has some sort of self-love prompts in it. Hi, I'm going to send you 5 tips, or here's 10 tips to love yourself. Give me your email and I'm going to give you my little ebook flyer that says, here's 10 tips to love yourself. Then you say, the next one says, hey, I'm Sandy. I wrote this book based on my own self-love journey. It's full of personal things. Let's bring more self-love to the planet, right? Mm-hmm. And for everyone, there's something custom that works better. But yeah, like you said, Ellie, you can use your lead magnet in a like unconscious way, where it's just like, I need your information for my funnel, but how can we soften things? How can we warm things up? How can we create a better connection? If that's what your brand's about. Sometimes your brand's not about that. Like Airbnb is not trying to create a personal connection with you. They're just trying to get you the place you need for the time you need it. Or like Uber would never do that. The first thing with all decisions is let's look at the core of your brand. As a designer with 20 years of experience, we don't necessarily need to do an entire brand strategy 6-month process to get there. You can post a couple things on Trello that say what you're about, and I get it. I can operate from there. We don't have to spend all this time on stuff. That's what I love about this model. You know what you're about, and I can bridge those gaps.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any questions coming up for you guys? Because this conversation is so interesting. I want to make sure if questions are coming up for you in a specific direction, we address them as we go. Sandy, go for it.
The first question that I had is, so I do currently have a website for my business. When Ellie and I were going through the writing process, I really wanted to include meditations in my book to go with the theme of the week. One of the things that we came up with was we would put in the book the link to my website so that the reader could go to the website to actually listen to the meditation. Thank you. It was a great idea. Would I then need to create a whole new website for this book, or for now, can I just leave it the way it is with a page on my current website?
Can I see your current website? Can you put a link in the chat? Yeah, the more your book can be a doorway to a world, meaning links and videos and things like that, the better. I clicked on the link to your website, and this is what happened, which is normal if your website's not set up properly. To answer your question, no, don't use your current website because your book's going to be published and printed, and you don't want there to be problems. I would recommend having a website specifically for the book. Once the site is up there, that link, you don't want it to change because someone might have the book for 10, 20 years. So you want to really be committed to your website.
Right.
That's a really good point. We have a question from Megan about websites as well. Megan, if you want to unmute and share. Megan dropped her website link in the comments, and I'm sure the question is related to this.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same. I was thinking about putting links or QR codes into certain pages that go to, here is what I'm talking about. You can watch a video about this, hear me sing about this, or watch me work with a student on this. This website's been going for 3 or 4 years now. I would rather just have a page on the website that is for the book, because everything's been going through this anyway. But thoughts?
Your website looks pretty developed and it works, which is fantastic. Let's say you have a chapter where it's, okay, now that you've read about how to sing with the student, here's a QR code that you can scan, and now you can hear me actually sing with the student. That page on your website, the navigation wouldn't be able to get you to that page. You would have to find that link through the book and then get to it. You can have thousands of links in your book to different modules, teaching things, or places where you're speaking. You can have something where you read an entire chapter. If you want to listen to this chapter instead of read it, just click scan here. And you can do that for each chapter if you wanted to go extreme. But I love, if this book's about singing, obviously there should be singing involved. And you can do that with the website. That's brilliant. And it makes it much more interactive and immersive. And I think that would help a lot.
Would you also be willing to give me a little bit of, here are some questions that you should be asking yourself around the book based off of my website and branding?
I love your logo. It's very elegant. Singing and acting lessons, that's great. Contact for free consultation. This is like your big thing, contact today for free consultation. I would definitely put that up here. You notice it right away. Like you'll notice on my site at the very top, the most important thing has a no-brainer, hey, click here kind of thing.
It's different on a mobile app. I know that most people don't use their computers. So when you pull it up on mobile, the only way that we could make this work was by putting it like this, but in the mobile app, it's very front and center. Do you think it should be bigger, or maybe just move all of that to above my head?
No, just a proper designer would be able to do what I'm saying. Okay. Do you know what platform this is built on?
Wix.
I don't recommend Wix.
For amateurs like me. Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So
no offense taken.
When people ask me to work in Wix, I say no. So I'm the wrong person. I love that you're thinking about putting videos and stuff in here, because I'm looking at this site and I want to see you singing. The photos are great. And I think a video from you, if this was you talking instead of just a picture, it would be much more interesting. I'll show you my site that I send, like when I do consulting at big agencies too, like the agency that had L'Oreal, they called me in and they said, L'Oreal is going to leave our agency if we don't give them a bunch of good ideas. So I go work with them for a month and blow L'Oreal's mind, and then they stay at the agency and it saves them like $100 million.
My name's Rahul Panchal. Welcome to my site. I've been making advertising professionally for the last 20 years, but I got my start when I was 7 years old doing oil painting. And from there, I illustrated my first book when I was.
You can see a video is much more interesting. It draws you into looking at all the work. So it gives some initial context and it starts to build the relationship right away.
How long do you suggest the video is?
The thing about videos is people are going to stop watching it when they stop watching it. I know a lot of people say only make your video 1 minute or 2 minutes. And those people don't know anything. There's no time limit. The best videos on YouTube are like an hour long. If you're posting YouTube videos that are under 15 minutes, the algorithm's not going to favor you. Make your video long. Make it good though. The whole video needs to be good. I'll show you a site I did for another author. She has a storytelling school and all kinds of programs and stuff. The homepage is just live your greatest story because you're the author of your reality. She has some stuff that explains her ethos. She has her little lead magnet thing, receive a free class or gift. And then you put in your stuff and click receive. You'll get an email, but then you also just get dropped right into it.
Hello, you made it to your pre-class, and it is my delight and my honor to be your guide into the world of sacred story. It's so nice to see your faces.
Originally, she had a PDF that she was going to give out. No, make a video. Let's get a class that you're willing to share for free and do an intro. So I edited all her video and built her site. You can see her upcoming events. She has all these different master classes and you can register for the class right now. You can just pay right away. So she's got this course called Alchemy of Story. It's a 10-month
The Alchemy
program.
of Story is a journey unlike any you've ever taken before.
This video is 5 minutes long and it goes into all kinds of stuff, right?
Would you put this website into the chat, please?
Sure.
Thank you so much. This was incredibly informative.
And then
Notice that big red free class button. That's exactly what Rahul was talking about, Meg. At the top, right?
Yep.
And look, when you resize the site, it goes to the mobile view. I rebuilt the video. This is a mobile video. See how it's nice and tall? When you click on free classes up there. So you still get all the links, but free classes front and center because every new person that comes to the site, we want them to know, hey,
The Alchemy of Story is a
And what is
class.
the website builder you used for her
I do all of my websites
on Framer?
I only work in Framer because it's the best. There's a Ferrari in my driveway. Why would I drive a beat up broken car that doesn't work right?
Because I'm not super technically inclined, something I have struggled with even on Wix is being able to update the website. How does that work with you?
I have a low monthly subscription, so I'm essentially your in-house designer. If you want to hire a designer, that costs a lot. I'll do it, and it's not expensive. As long as you are establishing yourself in a way to make money, it's going to make sense. Framer is super easy to work on and work with. So I built the school of sacredstorytelling.com for the author's team. So I have video, when I'm working on her site, I'll screen record how I'm doing certain things and what you need to do, how to log in and how to handle updates. Let me show you this. So
yeah, I had my last interns do that for me. It was very helpful.
So this events section here, I don't do any of this. I built the structure and now her personal assistant adds all the events. She knows how to do the learn more and the register now. So I can actually show you how that's built in Framer. Let me show you the back end of Framer. So I'm in the Framer environment now. Here I can see all the pages, and all of these pages are not in the navigation because some of them you have to go through different funnels to get to them. For example, this free class.
I do want to point out what, Rahul, you've said this a couple of times, and I want everyone to take a note of this. You said not to have certain links be navigatable, right? Because that also allows you to see if your funnel and your marketing is working. Because if somebody can only get to that page through the specific funnel, you get a sense of whether that messaging is working and whether or not that funnel is working. It's really an additional layer of information that you get by making that link only available to the people who are engaged in that specific way.
When you click free class on her site, it pulls up this really cool page that lets you walk through this threshold in your consciousness. You put in your name and your email to get to the gift. There's no way to get here unless you go through that door. So what else I'm going to show you? I'm going to show you the events page. You'll see in the build environment, there's literally no events here. I brought in a programmer to build me a specific module. So this is something that's not native in Framer. So this box, this purple box right here, to populate that, you have to go here and do this stuff, which is super easy. So these are the events. There's 17 events. And all you have to do to create an event is click add, and then you put in the stuff. I made this woman a video that says, here's how you add an event. You can do that without interacting with the design or messing up the site at all. And then you can go in there and edit events. So the event has a name, a description, start date, start time, end date, end time. And then I have it set up to hide the event after a specific time, because in Framer, when you're building your site, everything's just there. But once your event happens, you want that to go away. So that was the challenge that I brought in a coder to help with. So now she has a events thing that has all these events that go deep into next year. Some aspects of your site need that kind of live update. It's not a design task. It's more like an administrative task. So those kind of things, we build systems so you can do those efficiently.
Any follow-up questions, Megan, Sandy? I know Blue has a question as well. He dropped in his link.
I just wanted to say thank you. This is very informative, and I'm excited.
Cool. Cool. Do you want me to pull up your audio newsletter?
Blue, if you
Yeah.
have any specific questions about that, let us know.
So this is my newsletter with my book. I've got the Spirit Strikers. It's not cycling through though. Interesting. They're
Cool.
supposed to be scrolling. They're not. So they're not scrolling there. Interesting.
And that brings up a question for me. What do you think, Rahul, about newsletters as a marketing tool?
I think anything you're doing to pre-build your community is, if you don't have a community, who you're selling your book to. Like if you just invest all this energy into putting a book on Amazon, who's going to know about it? When I did this book, The Awakened Woman's Guide to Everlasting Love, these guys had a huge community. They'd already been coaching for 7 years and had 7 years of people that loved their work. I love that you have a school.
Yeah.
I wish I could click on it so I could check it out. None of these things work.
The whole website is frozen. I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah. So yeah, I think school is an incredible platform. So if you focus on building your school before you launch your book, when it's time to launch your book, what you do is you say, all right, community, I'm putting out a book now,
okay.
and the book is going to be free for the next 48 hours. So everyone in this community can get the actual book for free. My request is, when you get this book, please leave a review. We did this with the Awakened Woman's Guide, and a bunch of people got the free book and left a nice review. And suddenly that book is now #1 in relationship books on Amazon. They changed the price to the normal price and people are buying it, right? When you want to start a lawnmower, you got to pull that string a few times to get the motor running. Marketing is the same way. Once you build your book, you build your website, you have a nice funnel set up, you put the book out there for free. When you're on Amazon, you don't see that, oh, okay, these first 1,000 buyers got the book for free. All is that this book has 1,000 reviews and it's on the top of the list and it's now $15. Okay, cool. I'll give it a shot.
Sounds good. I hadn't even thought of using school in that way. I definitely want to try it.
I love school, and I know everyone's like here, obviously, in my school community. I think Sandy, Meg, Sterling, it would be really beneficial to start your own school community. So I'll do a training on this in our community so that you can, if you want to, you can get started. I love this idea, Raul. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. It actually is not my idea. It's those authors, they had a book launching coach, and that's where it came from. They have 183 global ratings. They have 86 5-star reviews. I used to train with these guys for 2 years. That's how I even knew them to do their book. Kim, she's one of their coaches. Most of these names I recognize from their classes. These long, beautiful reviews, they're not organic. They made it happen through their community. These reviews are what got them to actually selling and getting this thing on #1 on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So even today, look, it's gone down because that was artificial. This used to say #1 in love and romance. Now it's not, but they also launched this thing in 2018. It was #1 and #5.
Well, here's the thing with Amazon. Amazon tallies the book sales every hour. If in that hour you outsell everyone else in your category, you become #1. So what you want to do in those first few weeks is media or marketing campaigns to get as many people to buy your book in a specific period of time as much as possible so that you hit those #1s. And Amazon doesn't send you an email saying you've hit #1. You have to keep refreshing to see it. When you see it, screenshot it, right? Start tallying it, because that's how you build the rapport and vetting of yourself, by saying, hey, my book hit #1 in all these different categories. So what becomes really important is identifying the categories where you can outsell others and pushing traffic to it in a concentrated period of time so that you do outsell others, so you get to that #1 slot.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
Mm-hmm.
amazing that after 5 years in that one category, really incredible, because that tells you the power of getting all those reviews. People buy a book they've never heard of on Amazon. They look at those reviews to
Of
see if they
course.
want to pick it up or not. That's so important.
This was our main image. We used this on social media. All their social accounts got this. Then we posted these in their community pages. They had their Facebook groups with all these people. Get it today for 99 cents. So it's $15.96 off. Order now. You click on order now. It takes you to the Amazon page. Then we did another one a few hours later. So really driving home, hey, today's the day to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Once it worked, look, #1 new release in love and romance, 26 customer reviews. So we just pushed it to that. #1 new release is completely artificial. We just had everyone in their community get this book for 99 cents.
I want to point out a couple of things as you're looking at this. #1, look at how prominent the design of the call to action is. It's red, it's big letters. And then also look at, there is 4 different versions of the same slide, right? So when they release it throughout the day, they can release 4 of these and they're going to look slightly different. So it looks like new content, right? But it's saying the same thing. So people feel like they're seeing something new each time. And psychologically, the people who sell the most number of books, who sell the most number of anything, are the people who ask for the sale most number of times. So you want to ask for that sale as many times as possible. But if you're doing it with the same exact thing, it might feel like, oh, I've seen this already. Just by tweaking it a little bit, like Raul has done here, you're asking, it's a new ask, right? Now it's a second ask. Now it's a third ask. By the 5th ask, the person's going to be like, you know what? I think I need that book.
Yeah. This was the one we posted in the morning, right? Everyone wants these 3 things. Then we said, okay, this is a one-time sale. This is your time to get it. Look, you deserve this. And then the last one we sent in the evening was, we love you. Here, you already know we're giving it away. We got this flash sale. This is just our gift to you.
When you do this, you have an opportunity to change what you appeal to. Most people make decisions emotionally. Notice how his first ask was emotional. So you're going to get 50-60% of the people with the emotional ask. So make that emotionally. Some people need the logic, right? So you need to appeal to their logic. You can really play with what you are appealing to and get the people who are more logical, more systematic or whatever, get them with data. Sandy, in your case, for those people, you might be like, whatever percentage of people experience this. And then with some of them, you're going to have emotional ask. So what are they losing by not loving themselves? It gives you an opportunity to vary the messaging for the different type of decision making.
We wanted to get into the philosophical side of things, right? Like this deserving, it's like a deeper layer.
Right.
And then we just wanted to get into the reality that this is a gift. This costs us money to give you. Selling a book for 99 cents is a loss, but it's worth it because it gets us to number one on Amazon. It's an investment we're making because we love you. It works for us.
Amazing. This has been such an amazing conversation. Do we have any last minute questions before we wrap this up?
I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you very much. And I apologize. I'm still trying to figure out why you couldn't get on my website. That was a little embarrassing, but I definitely appreciate all the information for sure. Thank you.
And look, something I want to say is I know my design services are not the cheapest, but they're solid and they work. Sometimes when you go cheap, things don't work and it gets embarrassing and your funnel doesn't work right, but you do get what you pay for, right? There's a difference. I encourage people when they're working with me, sometimes they say, this is expensive. And I say, you get what you pay for. When we're writing a book, we're also writing our destiny and building our life. So if this is something serious to you, invest. I was helping a bakery. They were getting going. I did this super cute little logo and brand thing for them. And they were like, now we need to do signage and all the stuff to actually make the bakery. And I was like, okay, it'll cost this much. And they were like, oh, that's really expensive. And I'm like, you're making a restaurant. It's not a cheap thing. Are you serious about what's your plan for this restaurant? Do you want it to be up for 6 months and fail? Or is this like something that's going to be up for the rest of your life? When you're making a sign for a restaurant, you can get a banner printed at fastsigns.com for like $100. It's vinyl. You just nail it to the wall and it'll work. People will know the restaurant's there. But then you can have a handmade wooden sign. I also do woodwork and whatever your logo is, I can make it out of wood and put it up. But that's a whole different price.
You're
It's not $100.
I want to get to Sterling real quick because he had his hand raised and I know we're running out of time. Sterling, would you like to share?
I'm a little overwhelmed because I'm back in federal government for the next 6 months, but I'm doing like preparation for my next phase. And I've had websites and I had an idea to make each chapter of one of my books have a link to original songs. And I got overwhelmed with the technology. You have to do a budget. And I think your thing was
$3,500 a month.
Okay. So I wasn't exactly sure because we don't usually use commas. I didn't see the 0.00, so my brain wasn't sharp.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. This 3500 is not clear.
I guess I would have put 0.00 after it. That's just me up a little higher, little ones. But I went to Europe and they have different ways of expressing the numbers. I thought you were doing it in a European way for some reason.
That's
like
great
in Italy. I'm just saying like a dot after the 00 and then at 500 point. Yeah.
Reason I'm showing you this right now is I want to show you what it's like to work with a designer that can make changes quickly, right? Maybe it's something like that.
Where it would be superimposed.
Yeah. That's actually cool.
You like that?
Or higher, like up where you would almost have it like a
Super
square.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter. I was just curious. But I'm a member of 12-step groups and an inspiring church. And I'm thinking like, my main question was how to ask without violating boundaries. Does that make sense? In a way where I'm like, hey, I have this idea and I would be grateful if you all wanted to do it. I'm really at the ground level, but I do have work product And a lot of songs published. I just never finished the website. I had it, edward.com, and now it's not working. But I love the fact if I'm going to start over, I'm going to start on Framer and do my budget and see when I can afford the best. I agree with you. Part of the mantra that I live by is you get what you pay for. And if you're worth it and you can afford it, go for the best. It's just a matter of doing the plan and live within your means, but don't let your means define you. Excellent stuff. I appreciate it.
Thank you. If you go to my live site right now, the 00 thing has changed. So if you have you can go to the Trello board, say, hey, I want 2 zeros added to the pricing on my site. In 5 minutes, it's done. That's why I use this management tool. For a big lift, I need 2 days to do it. But for something small, you just knock it out.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's like having a design team in your back pocket, which like a lot of times, if you wanted to hire a design team, you'd be paying a ton of money for them, but you just hire as you need. And that flexibility is really nice too. I really love, Rahul, that you're flexible. If you use 2 weeks and then you need to take a break, we'll carry over the 2 weeks to another time. I think that's really powerful. Thank you so much for being here. This was such an amazing session, Rahul. In the meantime, if you don't want to wait, Rahul, what's your website where people can connect with you? ClarityDecoded.com. So if you want to go check it out, go to ClarityDecoded.com. You can connect with him through that. I'll have all of this information in our classroom for you. For if you're not ready right now, you can always come back to it in the future, watch this video again. And
I love it. Thank you so much.
this was
absolutely.
mind-blowing. This was amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Bye, everyone.